Alright, so this is the first step I do when I clean out my Miele Blizzard. This is the cat and dog model. What I like to do is use an air compressor to blow out as many parts as I can. And the reason why I'm making this video is because there is a certain way you have to put this back together or it will leak dust. And it's something that's very easy to overlook. And I don't really see it mentioned anywhere else on the internet, so I thought I would make a video. I am a little bit more thorough with my cleaning than what the Miele manual suggests I do. For instance, I don't like washing the Gore filter in it, which by the way is not a HEPA filter. It's just it's a material made by a company, and they call it the Gore filter. It's this fiber that it does filter very well, but it's not like a true HEPA 13 filter. But the problem with washing it, I washed mine with a huge sink, cold water. I put a cap full of disinfectant pine sol in it to disinfect the bacteria and whatnot in it, but it frayed it. I let it sit in there for probably 10-20 minutes. I use a very, very soft baby bottle brush to gently clean the fibers, and that still frayed it. But the problem with the water is there's a lot of minerals in water, and that will get caught in the fibrous material of the filter. And over time, that clogs it up. I didn't notice the filter being any cleaner after I washed it. I didn't notice an improvement or at all in suction. It felt exactly the same. I didn't measure it. And the water wasn't even dirty. It looked clean when it was coming off of the filter, and part of that is because I use an air compressor on it. I think that's a much better option. If you want to replace the filter, you can, the Gore filter, but you have to buy the whole cartridge, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But first, let me show you how to take this apart. So the first thing you got to do is obviously lift this up, this handle. This lifts off of the unit. You want to remove this panel piece. I'm not for sure what this part's called. This component. So we'll set those aside. And inside of it, there is a tab. This screen filter right here. I could not figure out how to remove this for the longest time, but if you can see, there is a tab. All you have to do is put your thumb on it and gently pull on it, and it'll pull out. So we'll pull that out. And right now I'm not going to worry about all the dust falling out of it because I'm going to blow it out. So that's taken apart. Then you got the Gore filter. So there is these notches, so the lock and unlock position, you want to move it to counterclockwise to the unlock position, and then just pull it out. So now that I have all this separated, I will use an air compressor to blow it out. I'll take the attachments out. Alright, so air compressors are not cheap, especially this one that I have. It's a very heavy duty one, but it is a godsend if you have a bagless vacuum. And these are, I don't think it was quite as expensive as this Miele was, but if you're going to be someone that has bagless vacuums and you prefer those for the rest of your life, it would be worth an investment, at least in getting a small air compressor to blow these out. And you can, air up a tire if you get a flat tire. I would recommend using this with a face mask and, any PPE you feel like is appropriate. But I'm just going to go ahead and get to it. There's a blowing air compressor blower thing attachment you can get for it. There's that part. Now I'm going to blow out the dust bin. You want to make sure you get these little pieces of hair or fur and dirt kind of out of these seals. My household, there tends to be a lot of fur caught in here after I've used it a few times. So I'm going to blow that out. Blow off the dirt all over the car. You want to blow off the bottom of this and the outside of it, so when you put this back in the unit, dirt's not going to fall off of this onto the bottom of the dust bin area. There's that. And blow out the screen. The other screen. I'll show you guys how to put this back together as well. I don't have any professional recording equipment, so I'm just using my new iPhone 13 Pro Max. So if you can't hear me, I apologize for that, but I can't help it. I like how these attachments are washable. And this can also be further separated. There's these tabs along the edges of it. If you want to use it, do it the way where you're not going to break these tabs. You need to use a screwdriver, but I just like to pull them apart like that. And I haven't broken mine yet. There's still a lot that won't come off with the air compressor, which is what washing it's for. You can even skip the air compressor and just scrub these, but I just like to blow it off first. That way when I'm cleaning it inside the house, I don't get dirt and dust everywhere. But the main thing to do is the filter. You could skip all this and just blow out the air, or the Gore filter. But since I'm already out here doing it, I feel like I might as well just go ahead and do the rest of it. And I do this I use this every day for about 20 to 30 minutes because I have a toddler on the ground and a lot of pets, a lot of fur, a lot of traffic in the house. And I do this about once every 3 to 4 weeks just because I like my machines to be running at their tip-top shape. When I first got it, I was doing it every single time, but I would use it. And really, if you want to keep a bagless vacuum in good shape, that's what you're supposed to do, but I just don't know who does that. If you do, power to you. I'm not trying to say it's a bad idea. I just bagged vacuums, if you get a good one, like the bagged Miele canister, you don't have to do any of this. You just put a bag in it, change it out once a month. No dust. It takes 2 seconds. But my bagged canister, the toddler I talked about, he loves to hit it and follow it while I'm using it, and he just happens to, where he hits the machine, it's the off button, and for some reason he doesn't do that with this one. So I can't use the bag one because he constantly just turns it off when I'm using it. So I've kind of changed back to my Blizzard for now. And let's see, I'm gonna see if I can move out of frame. Can I move you this direction? It is a rainy day in Oklahoma. All right. You can even stick it kind of up inside of it. All right. So this part is done. All right, that's good to go. So for now, I'm gonna put it back together, then carry it inside and wash, scrub all these parts, in warm soap and water, and then let them air dry in front of a fan for about 24 hours. This filter, especially if I do get it wet and I put it in front of a fan, it'll dry in like 5 hours or so, or less. They have the exhaust filter on my Dyson takes days, even in front of a fan. So it's one thing I like about this Miele is that the filter on it dries a lot faster. So what I'm gonna do is put this in the cartridge. This is what I was saying, you can buy from Miele, but I do think it comes with the cartridge. You can't buy the filter by itself. It's about $100, so it's kind of pricey. But if you have an air compressor and you blow this out after every few uses you use it, you shouldn't need to replace it very frequently. But if you don't clean it, like say you have pets, pet dander is kind of an oily, it's like their dead skin, but it has an oily substance on it, and it gets caught in these filters, and it starts to smell like a wet dog over time. And washing the filters with water will not get that out unless you use the detergent, but then you got the detergent residue clogging up the filter. So I think honestly the best thing you can do is just to blow them out every once in a while, or frequently actually, and then replace them every 6 months or so. It's still an expensive way to go about doing it, as often as you can, I guess, but I would ideally prefer for myself every 6 months to a year. I want to replace this one at the end of the year. I have noticed a decrease in suction after I washed it with water. But I just, $100 just for a filter right now is just not, I don't know. Doesn't seem like something I should be worried about, but anyway, I'm rambling. So now that we have this back together, you put it in, line the arrow up at the unlock position, press down, and then turn it clockwise to the lock position. These will snap together. You want to make sure that when you put this in, that this is the intake and this is the exit point for the dust. So you want to put it together like this. That'll snap together. And you want to put this little screen on it. I'm not for sure what this screen does, but it does have little notches on it, little round notches that you line up with the round notches and where it attaches, and then you can just clip it onto it. I did break this part the first time I did this. Not for sure how, but it did break. And then this little guy, which you won't be able to find how to take it out anywhere. I couldn't find it. There's these guider lines that you line the edge of this up with. And it just slides down. And then it's going to go to a point where you feel some resistance. You just pop it in place like this. And that's it. And when you close the dust bin, Miele has had issues with this clip breaking on people. I'm sure people just kind of slap it up there though quite a bit, and that's when it'll break. This isn't designed to be like, beat up, but I can see that if someone spends $1,000 for a vacuum, they would expect it to be more durable. But at the same time, if you spend $1,000 on something, why would you be so rough with it? And all you really have to do is just pull this tab back and then shut this and then let it go, or use your fingernail and pull it shut. I don't see why people don't understand that. But now you can buy these little plastic things from Miele. When the Blizzard first came out, you couldn't buy replacement parts. You'd had to buy the whole canister or the dust bin. But now I'm pretty sure you can get replacement latches, and they just slide in there. If you were to want to remove it, if you did break it, there's little notches where you can put a slot screwdriver in, and then it'll slide out. And this would have to be open in order for you to do that. So you got to open this, put the slot screwdriver in here, it'll pop out. So now that that's together, I'm going to put this back on. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to go wash it out. I just don't want to carry it in so many parts. Give it a good wipe down too, and clean out the brush roll of the power nozzle. Make sure there's no clogs in it. All right, so this is the end of the air compressor part. I'm gonna move on to the washing part.